Welcome to the Greatness School. On the Greatness Talk platform today, we want to look at the subject of thinking. Thinking, thought, the mind. We want to look at the 7 dimensions of productive thinking. You know, thinkers rule the world. Thinking that produces results. Results like a monumental best-selling book like this one, The Ideal Lawyer, what you are not taught in law school, but are pivotal to your career success. 505 pages, bestseller. What kind of thinking produces this? We want to look at the dimensions. German physicist Sir Albert Einstein once said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." The most powerful weapon a human being has is the mind. And the mind is the instrument of thinking. The mind is the seat of making decisions and choices. And this is done through either thinking or applying emotions. You have been told that man is a spirit. Man here is both male and female. A spirit living in a body and having a soul. A soul is a faculty of interaction. It is the interface between the body and the spirit. And the soul comprises the mind, the will, and the emotions. And the mind comprises the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. It is the mind, both conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, that we use to think. So what is thinking? Ask yourself, what is thinking? How do people think and come out with things? Books, ideas, inventions, a pen like this, all this, a TV, a radio, antenna, clock. How? What is thinking? We use the mind to think. But thinking is a process in the mind through which we conceive, process, and crystallize information into things, ideas, opinions, etc., and so on. Thinking is a special aim-oriented mental activity. Aim-oriented. The mind receives and reflects on messages, impulses, either from the spiritual universe, the unseen world, or the physical realms. And these message impulses are crystallized into thoughts. And when you combine a series of thoughts, they become ideas. And it is the ideas that are expressed into the physical universe through words, signs, pictures, or actions. So this book comprises various thoughts which have been crystallized into ideas and then brought into the universe through words. Words are like vessels, they're like containers into which you pour in ideas and then you release. And ideas are generated with the aim of providing solutions, answers, making improvement, serving humanity, serving one another. That is what thinking comprises. And it is in various dimensions. That is what makes the difference between thinkers and non-thinkers. These dimensions are 7. Thinking directs our habits. What you think in your mind, you become. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he." Man here, both male and female. American author and motivational speaker Jack Canfield said, "You only have control over 3 things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take. So productive thinking has dimension. Thinking that produces results, good results, has dimensions, 7 dimensions. Number 1, we would say when you think of, when you are thinking of something. This is the basic one, recalling, remembering. You are bringing out or keeping in mind for attention. This presumes that you have material already stored in the mind. So you think of something you already know. You bring the material into the forefront of your mind. You bring it into view or perspective. This is what you'd call what is occupying your mind, and you select it from other possibilities. So you will find that in your mind, one category is you are thinking of something. You are thinking of a person. You are thinking of a job. You are thinking of a problem. You are thinking of anything, but it is specific. It is in the mind. You can see it. That is one dimension of thinking. The second dimension of thinking is thinking about. Thinking about is short-term thinking. Here you take into account, you consider, you envision, you envisage, you take the issue or a matter for decision. So you think about it, you roll it in your mind, it occupies your mind. You consider possibilities, advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons, why and why not, how, and all this. You think about something, you roll it over in your mind, you think about. This is the area, this is the kind of thinking that can take the form of worry or wonder. That means you are not getting any solution, you are not thinking about solutions, you are just thinking about it, you are worrying about it. But otherwise, remember, thinking is aim-oriented. So the second dimension of thinking is thinking about. The third dimension of thinking, thinking over. You think over something. This one is thinking about something for a period of time, a longer period of time. You take time thinking before you take action. You say, please think of it. Think it overnight, think it over the week, think it over the year. This involves reflection, very deep reflection. Here you undertake careful consideration, very careful consideration of a problem, a matter, an issue. You give it depth, you give it reflection, you give it a careful, well-informed attention. You think over it. Number 4 is thinking through. Dimension number 4 is thinking through. Thinking through now is thinking about something thoroughly, minutely, deeply. You are considering various solutions, available material. You want to make choices. You are looking at it in different parts, various angles. You are thinking of the effects, the costs of the intended action. Maybe you have already come up with possible solutions, possible outcomes. So you are thinking through. Here you take time to scrutinize available material before you make decisions. You think through. You'll find that you say, and you are now seeing through. You see through it. Through the problem, you have gone and say, how do we deal with this? You have seen the various options and you are passing through it. That aspect is also a dimension of thinking. Number 5 is called thinking out. Thinking out is basically planning. You look at the end before the beginning. Like you have a solution, you're saying, you want to go from point A to point B. You want to go from here, you want to go to New York. From New York, you want to go to Adelaide. Australia. From there, you want to go to Cape Town, South Africa. So you think it out through. You have the solutions, you see the end before the beginning. You look into the methods, you set out the plans, you consider all important aspects, facts, and details. You consider things rationally and carefully. This is what we call thinking out. Number 6 is called thinking up. This is the highest form of thinking. This is creativity and invention. You think up from taking into account all the facts, all the circumstances, all these things, using your mind to come up with new ideas, new dimensions, new methods, new solutions. You actually create up, you bring out. A book like this is thought up. You look at everything else, then you think at facts, you collect them, then you think up. You bring out new ideas, solutions. Is the highest form of thinking. It is also very uncommon. Very few people are able to think up things. Most people think about. Most people think over. Very few people think through. Very few people think up. And there is a difference between thinking up, thinking through, thinking over, thinking about. So you must grow yourself to a level where you are able to think up. After you have these facts, these facts, these facts, these facts, then you're able to say, this is the solution. Like if you take the coronavirus pandemic, when it came in, researchers got in the facts, the infection rate, how people got infected. Then they were able to think up solutions like if there is social distancing, that they thought up, there will be control. If people wear masks, that was also thought up. All these solutions are thought up. Observations are made, and you think it is the highest form, and that is a form you must endeavor to reach if you are going to have what is called productive thinking. Thinking that brings profit, thinking that grows humanity and grows you to profit from it. Number 7 is called thinking twice. Here you have made decisions. You are ready. You are set. But then you consider the intended action carefully before you implement. This is called re-evaluation. Before implementation, you reconfirm, you rethink, think again, just to be sure. You hesitate, you review before you take action. It is called abundant caution. You have done all the other thinking. Now the 7th one is you have thought and reached conclusions. Then you say, now, let's look at it again. Let's review it. This is the time where you can consult, you can ask somebody, look at books, re-evaluate again using superior material. Thinking. Thinkers rule the world. In conclusion, allow me to quote an American author, Napoleon Hill, the one who is best known for his book, Think and Grow Rich. He said, and I quote, "More gold has been mined from the thoughts of men than has been taken from the earth." End of quote. Remember all these developments, including this pen I'm holding, including this watch I'm wearing. All this have come from the brains of men and women. The brain can give birth, and these are called brain children. You have had something called brain child. May you live that your brain gives birth to what we call brain children. Thank you so much, and God bless you.